talking about the three facts about brain drain and remittances. Now, the first point, though, the first fact is skilled migrants will typically earn more and may therefore remit more. As we have seen with in the previous slide, as we are talking about the benefits of brain drain. The first one was remittances. So everyone expects, or the government expects, that whoever leaves his or her country to go abroad and work for a high pay should remit more. Because the reason why they move there is to look for green pastures. So they expect these people to remit more. It could not be the case, but it is true these people get more money, and the government expects these people to bring back money. It is a fact, though it may be criticized at the end of the discussion, as we may see other facts which will be criticizing it. Another fact is that it is believed that remittances are used unproductively. This we can use an example of our Uganda as a country, where we have brothers and sisters who have gone to Arab Emirates countries to sleep. We call it a cheyo in our local language. That when those people go there, they always work for 2 years contract. So they send back the money for investments, and you realize that the people they sent money to, the so-called relatives, they eat this money. They don't use this money as instructed. So for them, they believe that somebody who is far cannot instruct them on how to use the money. And yet the purpose of the other person is to make investments that at the end of the contract, he has to come back and still have income which is being generated from these projects. They always have these small projects of the boutique. They always set up some small buildings, the one we call rentals, for renting, which could probably help them when they are back to still generate income for them. But you realize this money when it comes when it reaches these hands of the relatives, they don't make the development. I see. Their task is to eat. Some of them lie to them. So you realize there is no big difference with even these people who are highly skilled. When they go outside there, of course, they have to trust. If they are to make investments in their local country, they are supposed to trust human beings. Now, the trustworthy is not there, because as they send money, as they remit these funds for investments, what they find on the ground when they are back or when they have come to supervise is totally different. Yeah, I may believe there are few who can do who can do the needful, but in most cases, most of them will have had stories. It is the vice versa. So the fact holds that these remittances are used unproductively. And once they are used unproductively, then there's no growth and development from brain drain. Another fact is that there is no evidence that skilled workers remit more, simply because most of them spend a longer time span abroad. Now, here you may also bear with me. If we take an example of Uganda, most of the highly skilled people uh, in the country are qualified, and they get chance to go abroad to work for this higher pay. They are the people from the rich families. You will find few who are from the humble families. You may find few or no one from the humble family that has gone to America to work. So it is most of these people who are from the rich families. And when they reach there, they see no reason why they should remain. Because now, even when the family they have left in Uganda, for instance, it has money. When they reach their side, instead they settle. They take long now. Their plans change to settle that side. They make most of them make investment that side. So you realize we have no evidence that it is true when these people move abroad to work for a higher pay, they will remit. So it is also a real fact that retards development as far as brain drain is concerned. Another point, another point here is that it is not likely that more the skilled labor migrate to outside countries will lead to economic growth and development. This is backed up by those other reasons that I've already mentioned, that these people, most of them live longer there, and their plans changes now to settle abroad there. So you realize no one can get convinced that these people as they move out, they stimulate development, or their remittances they will stimulate development. So at the end of the day, you realize brain drain becomes an issue to the economic growth of a certain country. There's a statement here says that therefore even a positive coefficient of education on remittances cannot be taken as evidence that brain drain is associated with a larger flow of remittances. You know, one of the importance or the benefits of these remittances is that it induces development and it induces education in the country. So as these people, most of them move, the best they always do sometimes is to educate their relatives or the families. Some of them get chance to go abroad also with them and they acquire high skills. So it induces or stimulates growth through education. But it is education enough, it is not a, an evidence that these remittances they are so important as far as growth and development of a given country is is concerned, because most of people are educating also without the remittances. Mostly now the humble people from humble backgrounds, they're also educating, only that they may not have a chance to go to those good schools, or they may not have a chance to go abroad and study from there. So we cannot use education as a coefficient that as evidence to associate brain drain as an important thing. Members, as we are still moving on, let us see another slide. On our last slide, I would love to end by uh, basing on Uganda and mentioning some countries that do receive our immigrants, especially from Uganda. So, to Uganda, the countries that do take our people are mainly USA, UK, Iraq, and United Arab Emirates, that is Dubai. That is according to the information from the Ministry of Finance 2009. So you realize most of the remittances that come into Uganda, they're from those countries. And don't forget that in most of the developing countries, the people who move out, or the migrants who go abroad to work for this higher pay, are mostly scientists. The one with here, the technicians, the engineers, the doctors, they are the people we send outside there to work, because these countries, they are the people they need. They can't take you if you are doing arts. Now you are going to draw. What are you going to draw? For them, remember, these are developed countries, which which is on a certain level, that they work mostly on those technological things and those sciences. That's why you realize that even in Uganda, our president is trying hard to say that uh, promotes sciences. Only that the way it is promoting it, it is questionable, but It is also good to promote science and technology for the growth and development of a given country. Now, realize if you continue to read this statement, they're saying a reduction in remittances partly explained the slowdown in investment in the construction. So here, if you interpret it, it is basically saying that most of these remittances that come in, they contribute much in the construction sector. So people send this money to set up buildings. You realize they have set up hotels. I realize they have set up maybe hostels. Realize they have set up those buildings for the ones we see in town for commercial. So that sector of construction, it's one which these people do what? Uh, invest in. So its reduction, the reduction in remittances also reduces the sector, and there is poor performance. So as I end the presentation, I just want to give a summary to summarize that brain drain is good, but to a smaller extent, because no country, especially now in the developing world, no country can base on the remittances for its growth and development. As you have seen, its evils, unproductive work that is done out of remittances. Most of the rich men who send their children outside there and they settle there, they not want even to come back. Most of them, as you have seen. So the country cannot be based on the remittances for its growth and development. This was also believed by the Philippine countries. It is said that those Philippines, if remittances were stimulating growth and development, they would be very far because most of their people move abroad to work. But you realize Philippine countries, they are at that same level. So at the end of the day, we may conclude that yes, remittances are good. They can bring in some small growth and development, but not to a larger extent. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and please wish everyone who will listen at this presentation well.